There we go. And I will share my screen and share. And let's just go right here to the top. And here we go. So welcome to our November 9th meeting. And I'm excited because we have a lot of really good things to go over today. Mark is gracious enough to review the desert housing report with us, and we can talk about where the market is here in the desert. We're also going to, over the next few weeks, the new residential purchase agreement is being updated, and it goes live in December. It is very different than what you're used to. So what we're going to do is just take a few pages over the next few weeks and just get familiar with it. This is your job. This is everything in every transaction goes right back to the purchase agreement. So it's just one of the most important documents you could possibly master. I do strongly recommend that you take that CAR course, or CDAR has been putting on courses, reviewing it in depth, because it's critical to your business. So we're going to start covering that. Before we do, I want to say, just thank you to our affiliates, and thank you, agents, for utilizing Legendary Escrow. We have our home warranties, we have our titles, we have a team, and these people are there to make your business strong. So thank you so much for everything you do there. Melda, would you like to say hello to everyone? Here, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
Just a quick reminder, remember to check your pendaflexes. Our pendaflexes are getting pretty full. And then also, please touch sales report. I'm not sure what she put on that, but in Skyslope, I'm noticing that we are missing a couple signatures as well. So if you guys, before you upload your documents, to make sure that there's no missing signatures. And as well, if there's referrals, if you guys are have a referral, make sure you attach the W-9 as well, because we need that in order to be able to cut the commission checks. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, and Barbara actually had a family emergency this morning, so we will check in with her in just a little bit. But she just wanted to remind everybody to, there's so many training videos on the VAC, and there's so many. One of the questions, because I know she's reaching out to everybody, introducing herself. And so just everything you really need to know is recorded, bless you, on the VAC. Chris Reeder is doing one-on-ones. Barbara will also sit down with you and help you with whatever you need to know. So just make sure that you have the tools you need. We're at a time here. We're going into, I should say, the last month of the year. So we're pushing hard to finish strong, but it's even more important than that. Everything you do today through the end of the year, what your paycheck is going to be January, February, and March. So I always look at it 3 months out. Everything that you're doing today, you will reap those awards or rewards 3 months out. So if you're waiting till January I'm just going to take it easy the last month of the year and then hit the ground running in January, you won't get a paycheck till the second quarter. So it's just the way the business operates. So everything you do has to be focused on, okay, it's November. You're already into February's pay. Does that make sense? So there's a great 4-step business plan. I would love to sit with every one of you and review your plan and see that, see where it is, see what we can do, work out some strategies. And just be self-motivated and just say, hey, my business is not where I want it to be. What do I need to do? The management team has been working really closely with Mark Stark. We've got some great things to share with you, but just let us know if that's what you want. So we are definitely here for you with respect to that. Okay, I am going to now move forward with our desert housing report, and Mark, you are on.
Okay.
5.
Imelda, Abraham wanted to apologize for all the problems in Sky Slope he caused. He said he'll be working to fix those today. It might take about 7 or 8 hours, but he'll get it done. All right. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. So 2 weeks ago, I guess now it is. Man, time flies. We were in Las Vegas.
Oh, geez, yeah.
With Mark Stark. He invited, I don't know, it was probably 100 or so team leaders from across the area region. And one of the things that Mark talks a lot about and talked a lot about during this meeting was getting clarity. And so that it's funny how when you hear something like that and then you listen for that word, I'm hearing it all the time. I listen to a lot of podcasts and things like that, just hearing, clarity. And this morning I heard a great saying. It said that clarity leads to confidence and confidence leads to courage. And I thought that's really fitting for this morning, because for many of us, if we're new to the business or we're making transitions, or we've been traditionally buyers agents and we're looking to be listing agents, these numbers, understanding what's going on in the market is critically important, and having clarity on what's happening and being able to talk to clients, both buyers and sellers, especially in this market, is critically important. So I want to urge you to make sure that when this comes out, that you take a good look at it, take a deep dive into it, and hopefully we'll continue to do these things to start to spot trends. I think this is about the 3rd or 4th one we've done. So now we're starting to see some trends. So
excuse me a second. Can you just make sure that you are muted if you are not currently muted, please? Thank you.
All right, so let's go to the first.
There we go.
You're going to click through for me?
Sure, I'll click through.
So as always, the first couple of pages are a map. Let's go to the first data. Okay, so the first page I'm going to talk about is the detached median price. So this is always the first page of the report. And as we all know, we're in a very strong seller's market, and that obviously continues. So the median price of a detached home in the Valley was $600,000, which represents a 12-month gain of 13.7%. So this is where we were a year ago, 527.5, and now we're at $600,000. That's the price. That's a median price of a detached home. So we continue to see low inventory, which obviously is translating into higher prices. Okay. So Gina, can you go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
So the next chart on the left of the screen is attached homes. So these are traditionally condos, right? So the median, the median price in October was $370,000. A year ago was $305,000. So that's a 19.3% gain in prices of attached homes. And the reason is because of the fact that there's such a low inventory of single family homes. A lot of people, as many of us know, are now looking to purchase condos instead of single family homes because there's just such a lack of inventory in the single family home market. So that's why we're seeing prices continue to rise in both the single family and condo markets. Questions? Okay, so let's look at the next chart. So this is interesting. So they added a couple of metrics, which I found a little bit confusing at first. And as I looked at them a little bit further, they do make sense. So they added on the left-hand side of the chart. Oh, go back one, sorry.
That's okay. Previous.
So on the left-hand side of the charts, okay, they've added a couple of columns. So they added the average size of a home in the various communities. So they looked at the communities, they said everything that's sold or that inventory is in that particular community, that's the average size of the home. And then they added the price per square foot. So in Bermuda Dunes, which is the first one, the average size of the home is 2,500 square feet. And the average price per square foot was $301.15 for an average price of a home of $752,000. Okay, and that's the same for both detached and attached. So they added those two, which is it's good. You have to kind of think about it. So it's the average size of a home, and then the price per square foot of those homes, the average price of those, and then equals the average price that they come up with. Okay, so if you look at 1 year ago, for example, Bermuda Dunes was 525,650. This year, the average price was $752,884, an increase of 43.2%. And again, we always talk about the low being 2011. So for those of you that were working in real estate in 2011, you know, that's when we hit the very bottom. There was tons of foreclosures, tons of short sales, like 60% of the market were distressed homes. Okay, so that's the bottom of the market. That's the lowest point. And so obviously we've reached high points in just about every single community. So if you look from the low, where Bermuda Dunes is 214% from where we were in 2011. So if you have homeowners that bought in 2011, 2012, it's a great time to talk to them because they realized a tremendous amount of equity, obviously, in those properties. And that's what that is there. Same thing on the condo market. Okay.
Quick question, Mark, just so you know, does everybody know how to find those people? When you order your farm spreadsheet from title, it says when they purchased it. You can sort it by purchase date and look for the people who have bought in 2011. Now you know that their homes have increased over 200%, right? It's time to send out a mailer. It's time to send out some kind of postcard or something to attract them saying, do you know how much equity you have in your home?
Yeah, it's a great postcard to say your house is, you know, your house may have increased 212% since you bought it in 2011.
Exactly.
Yeah. 11, 12, 13. I mean, that's when, you know, we started to see the market obviously change after 11. It started to tick up slowly but surely. But if you have people that bought in 11, 12, 13, those are great prospects to sell today. Okay. All right. Moving right along. So the next chart on the left is total sales. So the last 3 months, total sales in the Valley were 806 units. So that includes condo and single family. So if we look back in September, it was 860. August was 976. July was 1,061. So we're starting to see a little bit of a trend of less homes being sold. That's a lot because of the inventory or lack thereof. And so we're seeing that trend where less homes are selling, right? And so we'll see how that goes. Typically this time of year, we start to see listings increase. But with COVID, that's changed everything, right? I mean, pre-pandemic, it was pretty easy to predict. Around November, December, we'd start to see listings kick up all the way until March, which is typically the highest point of the year in terms of listings. But COVID has changed everything. And so it's almost impossible to predict. But on a very small scale, we are seeing listings start to tick up and a few less homes being sold on average, okay? So let's look at home sales, and the same can be said on a 12-month average. So 1 to 3 month, the number 806 was looking at 3 months. When you look at 12 months, it was 1,050 total sales. September was 1,076, August was 1,110, July was 1,125. So on a 12-month basis, we're also seeing a few less homes being sold. But again, that's because of the lack of inventory, okay? And if we look at home sales by city, this is pretty interesting. So we've seen some sales declines in most of the cities with a couple of exceptions, okay? So in terms of the highest decrease, if you will, is Indian Wells. So Indian Wells, where are you, Indian Wells? Last year, there were 44 homes sold. This year, 21 on a 3-month average, okay? So blue is this year. So India was 103 this year, 140 last year, La Quinta 122, 198, Palm Desert 164, 226, Palm Springs 173, 237 last year at this time. So on a 3-month average, there were 237 homes sold last year. This year, 173. Still a lot of homes being sold, right? But in terms of when you compare the two, less homes being sold, which is why we're seeing higher prices, right? Questions? Okay, next one.
Okay.
Go back one. Sorry, because there's whoops.
Did I go back too far? What did I do? Where am I?
Where are you?
Where
Gina?
am I?
Okay, right there. it's a little confusing because there's two charts on one. So no
Yeah.
problem. So
Well, thanks.
let's talk about home sales by price range. So we've been talking about the million plus. That's been really the hottest market of all in terms of homes being sold. So this year on a 3-month average, there was 129 homes sold and 126 last year. Okay. And if you're looking like I am in Rancho La Quinta, I have a couple clients. I went and looked at a house. It went up on Wednesday at 1.16. They had an open house on Saturday. He had 3 offers north of 1.2, and it needed all new appliances, 3 new air conditioners, and it was already gone. They had 3 offers with a deadline of 5 p.m. that afternoon. So if you have clients that are looking around, that's a tough one. So homes in that $1 million range are going fast, as we'll see, and are still selling. There's been some decreases in the price range. For example, 600 to 700,000. There were 72, 80 some last year. And you look the blue. So just about every category price range is seeing a little less homes sold than we were last year. But again, I mean, we're still, 800 to 900,000, there were still 36 homes sold in a 3-month period. So homes are still selling. It's just that we're starting to see some slowing in those particular price ranges, with the exception of the million. That's just red hot. All right, so let's look at Valley housing inventory. We've been talking about this for a long time. So these are the comparative months. So November of 17, 3,625. November of 18, 3,173, November of 19, 3,010. Last year, 2014, this year, 915 listings for sale, okay? And when we look at October 1st, it was 883, September 1st, 836, August 1st, 791, and we're at 915. So again, we're starting to see it's about 124 difference between now and a couple of months ago. We've added 124 listings, if you will. But again, these are working out pretty fast, right? They're getting sold fast, as we'll take a look. But we're starting to see a little bit of an uptick in listings, which would be good for all of us, be good for people that are working with a lot of buyers, right? To see more listings that come on. So we'll see. Again, normally at this time, we start to see listings tick up. Just as a function of seasonality. We'll see if that continues. It's not a huge increase like we normally see. That's one thing you see these increases. So this is the summer months, and then you see a big increase. And we've seen that except for COVID. So we didn't see that. What we've seen is a steady decline in listings, whereas usually it's more of a up and down roller coaster, right? So we haven't seen that since about April of last year is when we started to see the sharp decline in listings. Okay. Okay, so let's look at, months of sales. We talk about this every month, 0.9. So it's 9/10 of a month, which is 1/10 higher than last month, but it's still far below where we were last year at 2.4. So that's really, that works its way out pretty fast, right? So the months of sales is under a month, 9/10 of a month. And if you look at some of these communities, as we'll do in a second, some of them are under 9/10. So this is the months of sales by price range, okay? So just about every single one, with a couple of exceptions, is around a month or so. So 600 to 7 is 1.1, 7 to 8, 1.2, 8 to 9.8, 9 to million, 1.3, a million, 1.4. In these lower ranges, it's much lower because, as we all know, there's not much inventory in those lower price ranges. And when there is, it's gone in a day or two. If you get a listing in Cathedral City for 350, it's 400 is gone. I had some clients put in an offer on a place in the Cathedral City Cove. There must have been 15 people when I looked at it the other day. He got like 12 offers, I think he said. It was listed at 400. It's in escrow at 550. And it's a total redo. There's a hole in the ceiling. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Buyers.
my guy offered all cash 475, 10-day close, 5-day contingency, and he lost out by 150 grand.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it had 3 offers at 550. So I know the listing agent, he was kind to give me the info. But anyway, that's really what's happening, right? I mean, if you're working with buyers, you know that it's tough out there. You've got to really position your buyers at the top, and cash is king. So, okay, next. Any questions? Cool.
Okay.
issue. All right, so let's go to months of sales by city. Again, pretty telling, right? So in La Quinta, 0.7, Palm Desert, 0.7, Coachella, 0.7. Last year in Rancho Mirage, it was 3.2 months. Now it's 0.8. Every city is just about below 1 month, with the exception of Cathedral City, Thousand Palms, and Desert Hot Springs. And again, those cities, I mean, it's really hard to find any inventory in those cities. But there's a lot of, obviously we know there's a lot of FHA and VA loans that come through on those. Those tend to take a little bit longer, things like that. So it's still phenomenal. I mean, we're still in an extremely, strong seller's market. Okay, when we look at days in the market, 24 days in the market. And in October, the median value of days in the market was a record of 24 days. So we've broken a lot of records in this market, and days in the market at 24 was a record. So
That's incredible.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite charts of all are the price discounts. So these are, for me, these are really telling, especially when you're working with sellers. So I want to make sure that everybody understands this. So the price discount is 0. Okay. So what that means is that most homes are selling at list price. Okay. Some are over, some a little bit under. The average is 0%. So if you have a home that's listed at 575, it's selling for 575, some above, some a little bit less, but the average discount is 0. And that's off the price that it was listed at when it went pending on the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is, in years past, I've talked about this before. A couple of years ago, we were like almost 3%. So if you had a house that was $100,000, $3,000 off, now there's not much discount. So if you have buyers, they're not getting much of a discount on homes. Obviously, we've seen most are going over ask.
Okay.
I think there's one more, right? Okay, so this is by city. So this is the price discount by city. So in Bermuda Dunes, homes are selling 2% above list price. Okay, the same can be said for Indio, 1.8, Cathedral City, 1.3, Desert Hot Springs, 1.3. I love that they did this. It really makes it so much easier. Palm Desert, 1%, 9% in Rancho Mirage, City of Coachella, 0.8 and 0.6. So most of the cities, as I said, Bermuda Dunes is 2.0%, followed by Indio at 1.8. Palm Springs is at 2.3 above list. And what's interesting is in condos, the same is happening as well. Most are selling above list price. Indian Wells, a year ago for a condo, the discount was 6.6%, and now it's 1.7% above list price. So as you talked, a lot of people are switching from single family to condo because there is no inventory in the single family market. So that's a great chart. If you're working with sellers and you have a seller and you want to try to explain how hot the market is, you need to talk about the price discount. Homes are not being discounted. Like if you talk to a seller and they say, well, you say, I think it's worth 450, and they say, well, I don't know, you say, look, homes are selling above list price. We need to list competitively, like Mark said. I think it's worth 525. Well, that might be, but here's what's sold. The average is 450. You're going to get about 1% above that. So that's a great statistic. Also, buyers too. It's great to, when you're working with buyers and a buyer says, well, I want to make an offer $75,000 under ask, forget it, because in city so-and-so, it's 3% above list price, right? So it's very difficult right now working with buyers, but you've got to have this information to educate them. And
Mark, how do you use these charts?
Good question. So I'm doing a listing presentation this afternoon. I lead with this. So I start my listing presentation with the CDAR report, and I say, I want to give you a 30,000 foot view of what's going on in the market. And the charts that I typically talk about are obviously the median price. I talk about the days in market because that's really, really important, because I tell them, look, if we're going to list your house and it's on the market for 30, 40, 60 days, then we know we've listed it too high. Fortunately, I have not had any problem with people listing their price at the right price. Most people, when you go through the report and you show them, hey, look, this is what's happening. Most homes are selling above list price. So we've got to find that list price, and it's more than likely it's going to sell above that list price. So I lead with this. I use this. I usually spend about 5-10 minutes on this. Those are the charts that I typically will go to. I will do a historic look at. I'll say, here's what happened in the last 4 months. Here's what happened, on each chart. But typically when I'm done doing that, it's over. It's a done deal, because this makes you the expert, and it's real-time data. It's data that is very, very accurate, and it works. So I use it on both sides. I use it with buyers and with sellers. But if you're not using this report, you're making a huge mistake. And if you're not studying it and you don't know the numbers, the best thing is when I run into someone at the grocery store or whatever, and they say, how's the market? And I just rattle off a few stats. I mean, it makes me look like I'm smart, which I'm not. It does. It really helps. Tom Ferry talks about it all the time. The worst thing that you can say to someone is when they say, Imelda, how's the market? It's hot. Really? How hot is it? So it's really important to back that up. The market's super hot. Let me tell you what's going on. Did you know, where do you live? I live in Bermuda Dunes. Oh man, average price over list in Bermuda Dunes is 3%. The average median price is $600,000 in the valley. We're setting records. So it makes you the expert in 40 seconds. So yeah, use this report. I use it on every presentation.
Good.
There was one question about using these reports. So my understanding, and I've been doing this for a long time, is I use these pages in Facebook posts. So I will cut them out, I'll clip them, and as long as you show the 2 logos on the page and you're not manipulating the page. So in other words, you're not taking this chart, I'm not cutting this chart out and putting it on my website saying I'm the one responsible for this chart. My understanding is as long as you're giving CDAR and what is it now, GPSR credit, and you're not manipulating the page, you can use it. Once you start manipulating or you change it, then you're going to get in trouble. I've been using it for months. I've never been fined. I've never received a cease and desist letter. I mean, I called a couple of years ago and they said, as long as you're doing that, I don't think that's changed. So
There is a disclaimer. Just read the disclaimer,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
when you open the CDAR
Yep.
email that this comes with, it'll say this is to be used for your buyers and your sellers. And there's certain limitations that you just need to make sure you adhere to the rules.
yeah, just don't manipulate the pages or
Right.
change them in any way. Make sure you get CDAR, GPSR credit in everything you do. And it's there, and that's a market watch report, so on and so forth.
Yeah, but these reports, I mean, we bite at the bit. We can't wait for these reports to come out, because they're recent numbers. It's true numbers. It's not your cousin down the street who has a friend who's a realtor said that they got this for their house. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but this is true. This is true facts. Here's how you can go and set yourself apart from some of your competitors.
Yeah, it's a great global look.
Mhm.
I could tell by the look on your face. You had that inquisitive.
So based upon all your experience in the markets, I mean, the report's showing $1 million. So is there a break point after that where you're seeing a change? 5, 2, 2.5, is there any difference?
Well, I think once you get in that rarefied air of 3 million and above, yes, it does start to change in terms of days on the market and things like that. But overall, above 1 million, those are true statistics. I mean, 6, 7, 8 million dollar homes. I mean, that's a totally different set of values. But the answer is it's pretty steady in the lower millions.
Okay, let me look and see what one chat here. Please repeat the question.
He just asked about the upper values above $1 million, $3, $4, $5 million, and the answer is that once you get that $3, $4, $5 million price range, yes, there's variations. Obviously, I don't have it in front of me, but over $1 million, I mean it's the hottest market. And like I said, the million to 1.5, 1.2, that's become like the 600,000 to 700,000 market. I mean, it's very competitive, and it's just amazing. I have several clients that would buy today. They get beat out on these $1.3 million homes. It's amazing.
Right. And just remember, there's a trend graphics also on the
You can
MLS.
really drill down.
And I love Train Graphics. I'm on it almost daily, and you can just go in there on the MLS, check the area, locations, price points. You really can look at the numbers and zero down by subdivision, by city, by however you want to do it. And it's not just here. I mean, you can really spread that out to wherever you're looking.
I
So
didn't finish my thought, but I mean, I use this as a 30,000 foot view of the market, but then I drill down. So, it's a condo complex that I'm doing this presentation in. So obviously I'm going to drill down and do CMAs and get closer and closer to where that particular condo should be listed. This is a great tool to give somebody an overall view of the market. Is there a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't this report recently compare prices to the previous high 2006?
They took that out. They put in this price per square footage and all of that, and they took that
And they took that.
because it's no longer the previous high.
But, okay. that was
Yeah,
the next
we're,
question.
we've surpassed that.
So they've done that, now they're just sticking with the
Yep.
level of 2011.
Yeah, because we've surpassed those numbers in every community with a few exceptions. That's a good question.
And open houses are back,
Yeah.
right? So if you can get a listing, or if you can borrow someone's listing and sit that house open, have these reports there with you. Have them. They should be part of what you're providing to those people coming in. So when someone walks in, yes, you're going to do your quick 15-second commercial. You're going to let them know, the value of the property, or, the lifestyle of purchasing in that development. And you're going to start talking about numbers, what's going on in the market. That is one of the hottest topics today, is what's going on in the real estate market. So you have an opportunity to arm yourself for bear. And if you're not sure, come and see us. Let me know, and we can sit with you. We can help you. We can show you how to use these when you're in front of a potential buyer or seller.
Open houses are such a tremendous opportunity for you to demonstrate your knowledge. How many times have you walked into an open house and found the agent asleep in the casino?
Oh my gosh.
It's
It's
happened.
true.
Feet up.
In a
feet up,
lazy boy
yeah,
chair,
feet up, shoes
snoring.
off. Doors open, go on in. I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity. I've seen it happen so many times.
I left
for
my
you to
business card on his
to
chest.
demonstrate your knowledge of what's going on in the market. People want to work with people that know what they're talking about,
Mhm.
understand the market, and this can make you an expert in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use it.
Are we one of the only areas that does a report like this as well? I have friends that work, South Bay.
Instruments, playing and video.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is a tremendous resource.
Market Watch is amazing. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, and if
I
you-
love it.
I would highly recommend you all go to the quarterly Market Watch. There should be one coming up.
There is one coming up, I believe, at the end of this month.
Yeah, those are it's
Yeah.
like $45. I think you do it.
Yeah, I do it here. It's worth it.
10 those are worth
Mhm.
the price of admission.
Mhm.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, thank you.
I took that 4-hour class on me. That's a doozy.
The purchase contract?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I've done the 4-hour, and then I did the certified forms trainers. So, yeah, the purchase agreement. Woot, woot. We're going to talk about that right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
I'm done, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at this purchase agreement. And again, I have to tell you, I cannot stress enough, the person who knows this purchase agreement best is the one who's in a better position to negotiate. Okay, with that said, oh, sorry. With that said, what I don't want to see anybody do, and I see this oftentimes, is agents get what's called paralysis by analysis. They spend so much time trying to gather all the information and study that they never do. And what you need to do, and if you're in that position, if you think, oh gosh, that's me, who she's talking about, if you're in that position, let's chat, let's do some role playing, let's have some ideas of helping you get out there, because now is the time to get out there. This market is awesome. The market is awesome. You do not want to miss out on it. You do not want to miss out on getting these listings, because if you look at the daily listing counts, they're going up, and you want to be part of that. Okay, but purchase contract, it's now 16 pages. It will be released, yeah, up from 10. So there's a few changes. Some of the changes are excellent, huh? A few, yes. Some of the changes are excellent. For example, and I've heard this many times over the last few months in our current market is, yeah, we're making an offer, no contingencies, right? They need to understand what that means. Sometimes they think, well, no, there's no contingencies, it's cash. Okay, well, what about inspection? Are you not having an inspection? Are you waiving inspections, right? You've got a preliminary contingency. Are we going to get free and clear title? If it's in a HOA docs are part of the contingencies, right? So, and then seller disclosures, right? What if the sellers say on there that, you know, they have a flood every month? That might probably be a contingency, right? So we have some things that we just want to be aware of. And one of the things, let me see, there's another chat here. I want to make sure we're getting all the questions answered as we go. Oh, good.
Gina, somebody's not muted.
Okay, I think it's Joe Grainspawn. If you can mute yourself, please, Joe. Thank you. Okay, so one of the most glaring things, let me see if I can make it bigger and mute him. There he is. Okay, we're good. Okay, how do I make that smaller? There we are. Okay, one of the most glaring things you'll see is in paragraph 1. And can you spot that, what it is?
Can't see anything.
Go back.
Oh, thank you for keeping me on my toes, Ellen. Okay, paragraph 1 of the purchase contract. It's missing something. What's it missing? Oh, purchase price.
Price.
The price is gone. Where the heck did it go, right? It's in this chart. One of the great things about this revamp is they took all the contingencies that are in a contract, back to my initial, what I was getting to, any contingency and all the real particulars of the offer, they put it into this beautiful table. So when you look at this, you have all that information is now on the first 3 pages. So you don't have to go through paragraph by paragraph, reading that fine print and highlighting what you might be missing. It's all on the first 3 pages. So that's an excellent thing. But yes, you'll find the purchase price now right here under 3A, purchase price. If it's all cash, look at, there's a box right here. Everything is clear. You know, is this a cash offer, finance offer, etc. The rest of paragraph 1 is pretty good. You know, still has an offer from the buyer's name, who it is, etc. Paragraph 2 is still agency confirmation. Remember, there's 3 elements to agency, right? Mm-hmm. Disclose, elect, confirm. All 3 are, you know, part of agency. So you disclose it at the beginning. You did disclosure regarding agency. The election is when your client says, yes, I do want you to represent me. And confirmation is in the contract of who will be representing whom. And then paragraph 3 is where this chart comes in. So the first line, of course, is the purchase price, close of escrow date. You can have 30 days after acceptance, or now with that said, we are going into the time of year where most buyers and sellers get so frustrated with payments because somebody will say it's a 3-week close or a 30-day close. We have 2 holidays coming with usually 4 days off in each one, right? We've got in Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, we've got the Christmas holidays. And you have to look at a calendar. Look at the calendar and see when those 30 days fall, because you should not schedule it. We literally at one point had somebody who it showed the 30 days would have been the day after Thanksgiving, and this was several years ago. And that client showed up with a truck full of furniture saying, need my keys. We're closing today. Escrow's closed, title's closed. we're not closing today. And they said, well, my agent said 30 days and this is 30 days. And it was a lack of communication. Shame on the agent, right? Because it's always our fault. We need to take that responsibility and stand up for, let's take care of our business. So look at the calendar before you are writing contracts right now. Please look at that. That's a really important thing. And then let your buyer know. And if it shows 30 days is on a weekend, then put an actual date on there. So there's no discrepancy. There's not somebody saying, well, I thought it was this day before, not the day after. So it clarifies it if you put in a date. The expiration of an offer, that came from paragraph 32, remember of the old one, or 31, it's now 32A. But expiration of offer 3 days after buyer's signature, or on whatever date and time you want to do. Initial deposit amount. You can put in either 3% of the purchase price and it will automatically calculate it for you. You're not going to have to figure out how much is 3%, right? Of course, you guys should know how to do that. That's your commission, right? 3%, come on. So that you can do that, or and that's due within 3 business days after acceptance. It's all right there. Increased deposit, if there's an increased deposit, if there's a loan, what the loan amount is, FHA or VA, if it's checked, other things are going to come into play. But here's the amount, 80%, if they're getting a conventional 80% loan, it calculates everything for you, right? And then the contingencies, when the loan contingency is due, and if you need to extend that or shorten that, you can do that as well. Additional financed amount. If there's any other secondary financing, we don't see that too often. Occupancy type, is it their primary residence or secondary or investment? And they added those separately now. It used to just say, or is it going to be owner occupied? And there's different rules for lenders if it's second home or if it's an investment property, because a lot of people out here come and buy and they're not renting it out and it's not their primary residence. They just want a home to use when they feel like it. So, and that changes different financing options. So that's why those things have been done. And then of course, balance of down payment and purchase price. Okay, moving on to page 2 of the contract. Up at the top, any seller credits, if we're asking the seller to credit anything. And this is added. Seller credit to be applied to closing costs or whatever. So that's already in the contract. You don't have to do any amendments later. Verification of all cash. If they're saying it's an all cash, they really need to attach proof of funds, right? Can they afford it? I wouldn't even take an offer to my seller without that proof of funds in my hand, or at least without telling the seller, we're not responding until we get proof of funds from the buyer. We want to make sure that buyer's got the money and it's not contingent on anything. Sometimes you'll hear a buyer say, well, I've got the money, it's in my 401k. I'm going to get it. You laugh because it's true, huh? It's in my 401k and I'm just going to move it out and do whatever, and then something happens and he can't get the money out. Right? It's not an all cash offer that has no contingencies. It's contingent upon that money actually coming into his account. So that's important to remember. Verification of down payment and closing costs. If there's a loan, yes, you need the loan approval letter, but if they're putting 20% down, again, they need proof of funds that they have that 20% in the bank right now. Okay. If they don't, where's it coming from? We just want to make sure that we're not going to tie our seller up with a buyer that's not qualified. Okay. And then verification of loan application, reach out to the lender. It's okay to reach out to the lender. Say, hey, how is this guy really qualified? Have you met him? Because there's a lot of people that can print stuff off from the internet that they have not even submitted docs to a lender, even close to being approved. They've just been pre-qualified. And that's a big difference. Final verification of condition, of course, and then if it's going to be assigned, an assignment request, that hasn't changed any. If a lot of times somebody will buy it as an individual and then say, well, I want to also bring in my family member, my spouse, whomever, we're going to assign a portion to them. That can be done. That's not a problem, but this is where it's outlined. Okay, and then this whole section down here is on contingency, time to remove contingency, and if they're removing that contingency, right? So we have loan, of course, is 17 days after acceptance, or if they check this box, there's no loan contingency. Appraisal, same thing with appraisal. It's either 17 days or they're going to check the box. The investigation of property, 17 days. Informational access to property. I'm so glad they brought that up there because I can't tell you the number of agents I speak to that did not know that there was a paragraph in the purchase agreement that was entitled access to property, and buyers have 17 days to access the property and do all their due diligence and inspections. On day 18, it is within the seller's right to say, no, you're not going to come back until your final walkthrough, right? The sellers are within their right to say that. So you need to let whoever you're representing understand that. Review of seller documents, preliminary title report, common interest disclosures, review of leased or liened items, and then of course, if it's contingent on the sale of buyer's property, that's moved right there as well. Possession is the next section, time of possession. I'm so glad they did this. Upon notice of recordation, we no longer put in a time because we don't know what time it's going to record, right? It can record in the morning. It can record up to like 6 o'clock at night. So now it's upon recordation, and seller occupied. If the seller is going to remain in the property, SIP is attached for 29 or fewer days. If it's more than 29 days, of course, you need the residential lease after sale. If it's tenant occupied, then if checked, we need to attach the TOPA. And then of course, documents, fees, compliance, and times for performance, delivery of documents, signing and returning escrow holder provisions. That's another one that a lot of people had no idea that was even in the contract. Do you know how many days a seller has when they get the seller's package to return all that stuff to escrow? Do you know how long a time the seller has to return everything? 5 days, 5 days. But it was in really small print, hidden in the midst of all the contracts. So many times agents would miss that, but it's all brought up front now. Time to pay fees for ordering HOA docs. There is time limits on that, and I'm glad they brought it up. It's now 3 days, but it shows it right there at the beginning. And then of course, installing smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and water heater bracing. That needs to be done in the first 7 days, okay? And then on page 3, items included. So this is where, if a buyer is asking, they want to know the stove, refrigerator, any wine refrigerators. It's a little bit more clear than all refrigerators, right? Because, you know, there's garage refrigerators, there's casita refrigerators, so this allows them to go through and really check what it is they're asking for: security systems, video doorbells. Oh my goodness. Wall mounted brackets for video or audio equipment. Sometimes, you know, that's really important. They want to keep those there. This one's weird. Bathroom mirrors, unless excluded. You would expect the bathroom mirror to be included. That's weird.
I think probably because it's so in right now to have a decorative mirror instead of just.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of the times, isn't it? How, I mean,
I saw that.
video doorbells and bathroom mirrors. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Okay, and then we're moving into allocation of costs. And this is who's paying for what, right? And of course, the NHD, buyer, seller, both. Are they asking for the environmental? Just for your information, we always include the environmental. It's super important. We, if we're representing the buyer, we want to make sure, is it in a fire zone? Is it in a flood zone? Is it in, where is this property, so the buyer can get the proper insurance for it? Smoke alarms, carbon monoxide, water heater bracing, government required reports, escrow fees, title, buyer's lender title policy. That of course is the buyer. Any transfer tax fees, HOA fees, private transfer fees. If you're not sure call the HOA, find out what these fees are so you can let your client know what they are. Private transfer fees, some areas, I actually just learned one area was at PGA was $250 for the private transfer fee. But then you move on to, for example, Monterey Country Club, and it's $7,500 for a private transfer fee. So they're across the board. You want to let your client know if they're paying private transfer fees, what does that mean? Because it could be a big chunk of change that they need to be aware of. Home warranty plan, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the first few pages. They put it all in a nice little chart for you to look at. We're going to review a couple pages a week until it's released, just so we're refreshed. But again, I absolutely encourage you to take those CAR courses because it's really in depth and it will give you a good grasp of how to explain it to your clients. Okay. Any questions on any of that?
Gina, this is Anne.
The question is what is the assignment? Sometimes a buyer will make an offer on a property, and then for whatever reason, they'll want to say, well, I'm going to include my adult son is going to be on title with me. So you have to assign a portion to the son. Okay. And that's all it is. And it happens all the time, and it's okay as long as the appropriate forms are done. I'm sorry, was there a question on Zoom? 1 second.
Mute.
I'm sorry, what, Abraham? There's 3 pages. There'll be a spot for you if you need more. Okay, I'm sorry, back to Zoom. Let me come back over here to chat.
Yeah, I had one question, Gina.
Hi, Anne.
Hello. Could you, I'm sure you covered it before, but could you just remind us how we can get the class on CAR for these forms?
Oh, absolutely. So when you log into the CAR website, in fact, let me just show you pretty quickly here. Let me minimize this if I can. Maybe, there we go. All right. So if I were to go over here to CAR website, and I believe CDAR is also holding classes. In fact, Ellen was telling us earlier, there's a couple coming up, so check with your CDAR as well. But let me get this out of the way. And if I were, let me sign in because it's not gonna. There we go. And go to search and just type in, or purchase agreement is one I use a lot. And here is California purchase agreement and related forms. And here's your registration. You can learn online anytime, get your certification, do all kinds of stuff. So that is one way of getting your training. And the other way is to go to cdaronline.org and look for the upcoming classes and just sign up there. Okay. Okay. Let me come back to from here. And let's talk, we got just a few more minutes here. I want to make sure I show you a couple things. So being top of mind is everything right now, right? There's a lot of competition out there. A lot of agents that you absolutely you need to just not focus on all the walls and just focus on the opportunities. All right. Mark Wasserman started talking a little bit about Mark Stark when we started the meeting, and he was talking about clarity. And man, that was a big word that day. And I know it sounds kind of goofy, but I'm telling you, it's everything. So you need to think about, how do you want your business to look? That's number one. It is your business. Understand that. This is not a hobby. This is not something that, well, you know, if something happens, great. If not, well, that's fine too. That's not this business, especially this market. It's just not where we are. You are business owners. You are CEOs and presidents of your company. So you need to have your business plan. You need to have that clarity of what does your perfect business look like, right? Think of your marketing. Think of the marketing you get from other agents at your personal residence, right? Is it good? How does yours compare? What are you doing to get your name out there? So we talk about the VAC almost weekly, to the point where I know you probably hear those letters and go, oh God, I don't want to talk about it. Some of you are using it and getting great results. Some of you have thrown 2 names in there and said, I've never gotten a lead from the VAC. And I think, oh gosh, I just want to hit my head. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Understand that. So it is there for you to generate business. Now, do you have to use the VAC? No, you can use another CRM, but you should have a system, a business system that allows you to send drip system emails, keep in constant contact with your clients and past clients. Business 101. The reason we promote the VAC is because Mark Stark spends an exorbitant amount of money every month per agent on these tools for you, so that you don't have to spend money that you don't need to spend, right? So we promote it because it's one of the best systems out there. And number 2, it's free to you. So utilize it. And if, again, we are all here to help you. Chris Weeder does one-on-ones. Barbara, Mel, we can sit with you and help you get this system up and running. I want to show you some really sweet and easy pieces that you can throw out to social medias. I think somebody had a question the other day on, okay, so what can I do social media to get my name out there? And I'm not sure if you've really explored the Resource Center. That's our national site. So if we log into the Resource Center, well, I think I've already logged in, but let me see what I'm doing here. Hello. Could you resume how we can? Oh, I think I did. Okay. Let me go back here, go down here, because I've already logged in to the Resource Center. Gosh darn it, get out. There we are. I'm on the Resource Center home. And if you click here on Marketing Resource, and to get to the Resource Center, I simply went to the VAC and clicked the button Resource Center. And you log in and you'll get to the home. Right here, here is market a property, market yourself, specialty marketing. Here's where you can create videos, mobile and desktop ads. But these are fun right here. This is brand marketing campaign. These are, let me scroll down a little bit more here. And these are just trending videos. So for example, and I just tested this one yesterday. If you click on this, this is how easy it is to share something. You click on the video you want to use. Let me move this out of the way. You click on, for example, Facebook. And then you click, you click post to Facebook. And you'll log into your account, say whatever you want to say and hit post, and it'll be posted right there on your thing. It does everything for you. All you have to do is hit click, you want to post it. Who had a question? Elisa.
Yeah. So are you able to post it to your Instagram from here?
I don't think so, but what I would do is post it to like Facebook and then take the link from Facebook and you click it on my Instagram.
It's got the link on there. See that the second from the right? That's the link right there. So you can take that link and copy it. You should be able to copy it to any site.
And then if you link your Instagram, your Facebook to your Instagram, whatever you post, Facebook will post something like that or something on it.
Okay, yeah, so what Imelda was just saying is, and George Rivera was just pointing out is that's a link. So if you click on the link, you could take it to whatever social media site you want to use. And like Mel said, If you connect your Instagram and Facebook accounts, you can post to both of those at the same time just by clicking on the Facebook. So there's lots of ways to do it. Again, if you're not sure how, schedule your one-on-one and set up some time to do this. But these are some really super sweet. You can schedule these out on your business page. Just pick a few videos and post 1 or 2 a week. And so that works well. Another thing I wanted was, if I can get out of here, here we go. There we go. Is, you know, this is the month of gratitude, right? Thanksgiving, everybody, and there's some really nice pieces here that you can use in your master library. And again, for those of you who have clients who speak a language other than English, we have multiple languages here. So any of the flyers can be done in whatever language you want it to be done with. So that's kind of a cool thing. Yeah, so lots of marketing to get the name out there. I do recommend that if you either do it with something like this, and let me come back here and go to, let me see if I can just go to, Thanksgiving and see what pops up. So now in the master library, I just typed Thanksgiving in the search bar, and here's some ideas you can use. You can create this and send it out to everybody in your VAC. If you've got your farms uploaded, guess what? Your farm's going to get a Thanksgiving note from you. You can email it to everybody in your sphere. However you want to promote it, you can certainly promote it, and it's a great tool. But I definitely would get it out to all of your sphere, your past clients, your future clients, you know, your that's in your pipeline. Get it out to everybody. Stay top of mind, because you want to be on their mind when they're thinking of buying or selling a home. Okay, let me come back over here. And so, any questions on any of that? Pretty simple, right, Derek?
Can you get the clarification on the role of Barbara versus Chris?
We are your support team. We are your support system. Chris is the corporate trainer. That is his job, is to sit with you and train you. And he does it via one-on-one. He goes through, I mean, he works and he knows these systems. He sits with the developer of these systems. So anything that you may want or on your wish list, I wish this had something, take it to Chris, because he works with the developer, as we meet with the developer once a month. So if there's something on there that you think, gosh, it would be really great if this would do, it's a very fluid system. So we take it to the developer, he puts it on his list of, you know, our wants and needs, and it just goes into a pipeline of them just working on it to get it done for us. So it's ever changing. So Chris is the corporate trainer. Imelda is our branch transaction administrator. She is transactions, SkySlope, files, commissions, right? You have commission questions, you have SkySlope questions, you need help with something about that. That's Imelda. Now, Imelda's amazing, and she also does a lot for agents to help answer questions, to help, you know, with what you need. She works both for this office and for Janet Mercadaffy, who is the brokerage manager out of Yorba Linda. So she splits her time in taking care of you. Something comes in, she texts you, she calls you, she puts things in your Pendaflex for you. She helps you with flyers. She helps you with questions that you may have with, you know, with respect to technology. There's so much, as you know, there's so much to learn and do. And then Barbara is my manager assistant. So she is the one helping me do things to take off my plate so that I have more time to spend with you doing one-on-one coaching. It's been crazy busy. And over the last few months, I've not been able to sit with as many of you or reach out and call as many of you as I had wanted, because it's just, you know, we have transactions like you wouldn't believe with lots of buyers and sellers. So I've been helping agents with their contract questions. But my time is to help you raise your production. My job is twofold: raise an agent's production per person and bring on excellent agents to the company. Those are my two jobs. So anything that's my highest and best use is to focus on that. Anything that takes me away from that is why I need, just like you need to bring on an assistant to help you with those other things so I can focus on that, which is going to make this office more money, right? And help you make more money. Because when you make money, then the company makes money. It's business. So that's, but we all work together. We all are here to help and support you. So whatever you need, just ask. Okay, does that help? Okay, any other questions? Okay, then we are going to move right along here. 1:30 Facebook Live with Mark. Breeze, if you've not used Breeze, you're gonna love it. Super easy. It's how to do your disclosures, your seller disclosures in SkySlope. Of course, SkySlope has a master's class every Wednesday. Come back here. And then don't forget, you are going to be on the lookout for a invitation coming to you very soon. It should go out this week for our desert holiday party. So keep an eye out for that. We already talked about looking at your calendar. I put this Calendly link on every meeting handout. This is a super easy way for you. If you want to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes with me, 30 minutes with me, just click on that link and schedule it. It's okay. Anytime, my calendar is right there, and you just schedule whatever works for you. Are there any plugs and wants?